Hey everyone, welcome to Mountain Beast Mysteries. Yesterday I made a video sharing my thoughts and belief that the Sasquatch in the Patterson-Gimlin film is a legitimate Sasquatch, is authentic. That's something I truly believe. And there's another piece of Bigfoot evidence out there that I also think is authentic, and that is the Sierra sounds that were recorded back in the 70s by Ron Moorhead. If you haven't heard of the Sierra sounds, I'm sure a lot of you have, but if you are new to the channel, if you're new to the world of Bigfoot and you haven't, I highly recommend checking out the Sierra sounds. Give them a search. They are probably the most well-documented Bigfoot vocalizations out there that have ever been recorded, and they've been analyzed quite heavily by language experts and sound experts who have always, after their investigations, determined the sounds to be authentic. And they've also determined that they just can't be produced by a human being. I'm going to play a little segment here of the Sierra sounds. These clips were actually sent to me by Ron Moorhead quite a few years ago. Just have a listen to these clips. They are so bizarre. They are so bizarre and strange, and I believe them to be authentic. These recordings were taken at a camp high in the Sierra Nevada mountains back in the 70s using an analog audio recorder. Back then there was no digital recording, so this was all analog, and it's usually harder to fake stuff on analog, but these have been looked at by experts, and the range of frequencies in these vocalizations are way higher than what a human can produce and way lower than what a human can produce, and they just hit the microphone in a way that a human voice can't replicate. It's like the sound is just more, there's more sound. It's hard to describe, and in a lot of instances in the audio, in certain clips, it really sounds like these creatures, these Sasquatch creatures, are right up to the mic. And that could be the case. The interesting thing about the Sierra sounds, and I'm going to get into the supernatural aspect of it because that's what I wanted to make this video about mostly. The interesting thing about these sounds is that throughout all the instances of this going on and these vocalizations being heard and them experiencing these sounds at this camp, they were never able to actually witness the creatures themselves or see, the Sasquatch creatures. They could hear them, but they could never see them. And they sound like they're right there. They really, really do. And that's just something that seems kind of paranormal to me. You can hear them, they're so close, but you can never see them. After going to this camp many, many times over, every single time you hear them and you can't see them, there's something weird going on there. There's something weird. But not only is there something weird with that, there was an array of strange light phenomena that was seen at this location. Ron Moorhead would go to this spot as part of a hunting group, and they would not only hear these sounds, they would experience strange light phenomena. Orbs. There was reports recently, I think it was back in 2016, where Ron and his wife were at the Sierra camp, and they saw a strange light rod moving through the forest, reminiscent of a lightsaber blade from Star Wars, just creeping along through the woods. Very, very weird stuff was going on at this location, almost as if there was a portal or something, and all this strange paranormal phenomena was coming through. It's not just, your typical Bigfoot case where somebody sees a hairy biped. They didn't even see the things, but they could hear these creatures. And, they see these weird light phenomena, these almost like UFOs. basically. And I've talked to Ron personally before, and everyone else I know who know him, like, they believe him to be 100% genuine. Like, he's a very trustworthy guy. He's just, like, I believe him 100%. I do not believe this stuff is made up. I do not believe it's a hoax. And it's been analyzed over many, many years. The same with the Patterson footage. It's been analyzed, like, very heavily by actual audio experts and language experts. They think these things are talking and speaking in a language, and it really does sound like they are. They're communicating in some sort of language. But I guess the weird thing to think about is, because they didn't actually see these creatures, I guess there is a possibility that there's something else, that they're not actually Sasquatch, and potentially maybe alien beings of some kind. It's always a possibility. But a lot of the audio that you hear, it does sound like they're communicating. It sounds like a language. And in other parts of North America, strange audio has also been recorded that is very similar to this. Very, very similar. So it leads me to believe that it's probably Sasquatch. And if it is Sasquatch, there's something else going on. There's something else going on, because it's directly related to the weird light phenomena and, like, weird orbs and other strange sounds that were recorded that don't really make sense for that area. It's highly unlikely that people planning on hoaxing these hunters that were there, like, would actually do that. Why would you go up to a camp full of hunters in the night when they have guns? And why would you, like, try and hoax them, risking your life, like risking getting shot? Because they were scared. When they heard these noises, they were scared, thinking they might have to shoot their way out at times. And they were scared enough that they actually built a very substantial, sturdy log shelter to hide in case something crazy happened. And, you know, I would too. If I heard these sounds, I would too. I'll just play those segments again once more so you guys can hear them again. Just imagine hearing that in the middle of the night when you're 8 miles into the bush, into the mountains. Like, you would definitely need a clean pair of shorts after that. These are definitely the clearest vocalizations ever recorded. Like I said, it sounds like they're right up to the mic, and if these things have the ability to disappear from, like, our visual field, our range of visual, like, frequencies, like whatever we can see, if they can shift out of that frequency, they could walk right up to the mic and you wouldn't even know, if that is a thing that they do. And the more you look into the Bigfoot subject, the more it kind of starts making sense that these things can do things like that. A lot of people are hell-bent on pursuing the idea and trying to prove that Bigfoot is a flesh and blood creature, and it could be to an extent, but it could also be something else as well. It could have abilities beyond a normal creature of this earth, you know? But a lot of people are trying to prove that it's a flesh and blood creature, and that hasn't really yielded any definitive proof of Bigfoot either. So there is weird stuff that goes on. I personally, over the years, after all my investigating and all the research I've done, I've come to the conclusion personally that there's a high possibility that there's something more to the Sasquatch than it just being a flesh and blood undiscovered primate. And the First Nations people will tell you it's a supernatural entity, it has supernatural powers, it's not just an animal, It's real to them. It's just as real as any other animal, but it is something more to them. And I trust them. I trust them. I believe them. Because they've been on this land so much longer than we have. They've been in the wilderness of North America so much longer than we have. And so I think we have to take that seriously. We really have to take that seriously. Because just listen to those sounds and like read up on the Sierra Sounds and all the other strange stuff that was going on. It led Ron Moorhead to writing a book called, I think it's called The Quantum Bigfoot, something like that, where he talks about how there's something more to Sasquatch than it just being a flesh and blood ape. It's something more. It has to be. I think these audio recordings are legitimate. I've always thought that since the first time I heard them, and they've stood up to extensive analysis and scrutiny. And these sounds, along with the Patterson footage, to me are like the smoking guns. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on the Sierra Sounds? I've always thought they were real. I really do think they're real. So that's just what I believe. And it's okay if you don't believe that they're real. I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone. I'm just sharing my thoughts. And I want people to understand, if you believe this stuff is something more as well, that is okay. It's okay to have an open mind. That's why we're having these discussions. But thanks for watching this video. We'll see you next time on Mountain Beast Mysteries.